Hi, I'm Jeff Cohn, host of the Team Building Podcast, where we interview top team leaders, broker owners, and thought leaders from across the country. Really excited about sharing with you our high-level team leader podcast episode today, specific to lead conversion. Everyone's always so excited to talk about lead generation. What matters more, and what I'm most excited to speak to, is return on investment from our lead gen efforts and return on time. The WORK that we and our agents do behind the leads is what will define our success. And so today we're going to be diving deep into lead conversion best strategies that have proven to convert over 2,500 internet leads from our small little team in Omaha, Nebraska, that's generated almost $20 million in commission, of which we've kept 50%. If you'd like to learn more about that, stay tuned. Over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be diving deep. Before doing so, would like to thank everyone who has supported our podcast. January had more downloads than any other month in history. Last year, we are excited to report we had over 160,000 downloads, and to date, we've had over 6 million listeners. If you've taken advantage of this podcast and you're implementing the things that we talk about on this podcast into your life and into your business, and you have found it to be a success, there's nothing more that would be meaningful to us than for you to go out to whatever podcast app you're using and give us a shout out. Give us a 5-star review and say something about one of our listeners. Give a positive as to why others should take advantage of the podcast as well. When you do that, the algorithm that those podcasts use will help others like you find this content so that they can change their lives as well. Also, for anyone that has yet to sign up for ERS coaching or one of our upcoming ERS workshops, which we actually have a workshop coming up March 20th and 21st in Omaha, Nebraska, go out to growwithers.com, click on workshop, give us your info, and we'll send you some more information about some upcoming events. So in 2011, going back now, 12 years, we signed up for Boomtown. Now, of course, that's our experience with internet lead gen. We've put a lot of time and energy into Google PPC to generate the leads, but lead conversion best practices, the ones that I'm about to talk about, are specific to any lead source. It could be a referral from a friend. It could be someone that you met at an open house. It could be an internet lead that registered on your website. What we've come to learn is that people are people. And the number one point to help you convert at a higher level is building a relationship of trust, because people do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And trust is created by connection. And if you pick up the book, 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer, Michael will outline the best ways to communicate with individuals to create the best type of connection. So inside of the Boomtown platform, there's a back-end client relationship management tool. Previous to Boomtown, we used Excel on steroids. I built out an Excel CRM that we worked with arduously. And then we picked up Boomtown. Of course, there's a lot of other great resources out there. Follow Up Boss, Real Geeks has a great CRM. Brivity has a CRM. Command has a CRM. Sync has a CRM. I could go on and on. So it doesn't matter which one you're on. Of course, we love Boomtown. We've used Boomtown for quite some time, but having something to have your agents plug leads into is going to be the first thing that's going to make a big difference. But more important than just that, more important than just putting a name into a database, is to have a systematic approach behind converting leads at a high level. And not only will you have that system, you'll coach to the system, and you'll hold people accountable to the system. And you'll inspect what you expect, or expect what you expect to never happen. So as we put leads into our Boomtown CRM, we work with each agent to delineate different categories that those leads should go into based on what that lead's interest is in using the services that we offer. So keeping this really simple, we have names for all these categories in Boomtown, but I'm going to call them A, B, C, and D. A are hot leads. A are leads that are we already have an appointment scheduled. So if somebody wants to go look at a house, we have an appointment to go show homes on Saturday. If someone needs a listing presentation, we have an appointment to go on a listing presentation. That would be an A category. And anyone that has shown interest in doing either of those things and there's a date scheduled, they'd go into A. And when I sit down and hold someone accountable and they say, hey, here's my A list, I'm going to ask the agent, when is that appointment? And they say, well, there's not an actual appointment. I just have them in A because they're ready to buy or sell right now. Well, that person shouldn't be an A. A is only for appointments. And I would always tease if someone was bragging about going on a hot date and you're like, oh, that's exciting. You're going on this hot date. When is it? I'm like, well, we haven't really actually set something up yet. That's not a hot date. That's a lukewarm date. That's not even a lukewarm date. That's a cold date. So A is only appointments that are scheduled, and you work with your agents to make sure anyone that they're moving into A, that they have a scheduled appointment. And at any point in any category, once an appointment gets scheduled to meet in person, you're moving them to A. The goal of anyone that's in A, and this is also very important, is for agents to know what that goal is to get them to know you, like you, trust you when you're in person, even though you're showing a house or even though you're doing a list press or even though you're having coffee. The goal is to get them to know you, like you, trust you, so they'll sign on the line that is dotted. And I'm stealing that quote from Alec Baldwin, Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross. ABC, always be closing. AIDA, attention, interest, decision, action. So signing on the line that is dotted, what line? If you're a buyer, exclusive buyer agency agreement. But that doesn't work in my market. It doesn't work because you don't do it. It works in every market. It's a contract. Every type of professional company, including buying a used car, requires you to sign on a line that is dotted. If you're truly a professional, like you tell everyone, get everyone that ever sits down with you to sign on a line that's dotted to say, here are my professional services I offer, and when I've done them, I'm going to be due a commission of X. And if you don't choose to work with me in the next 12 months, you still owe me a commission of X. That is what that exclusive agency agreement will create. No different than a listing agreement. You have them sign on the line that's dotted. It's a 12-month period or whatever duration you negotiate. A certain dollar amount is established if you sell the house. If you don't sell the house, in most instances on a listing agreement, you're probably not going to get paid. So the goal is to get them to sign on the line that is dotted. The servicing part doesn't need to be done by you. Obviously, none of this needs to be done by you, but the servicing part, more so than anything, could then be delegated to a buyer's agent or a listing agent that's on your team, and you hand it off. So A category, appointment is set. You go on the appointment to get them to sign an exclusive agency or a listing agreement, and then you turn that contract over to somebody else. B category. B in our world would be nurture. So nurture category is anyone that indicates to us when we've talked, when we've texted, when we've emailed, when we've talked over the phone or met in person, when we instant message, when we Snapchatted, when we communicated in any type of way, and they have said to us, we believe we'll be buying or selling a home in the next 3 to 6 months. That lead goes into B category. The way you treat B category is going to be different than the way you treat A category. B is 3 to 6 months out. So of course, up front, you're going to take them through LP Mama. Part of the LP Mama acronym is asking them to go on an appointment with you, asking them to meet with you. Well, you've already done this when you've established your initial relationship because you've said, hey, I'd love to meet up for coffee. I want to show you my buyer presentation or my listing presentation so you know my value add. And they said, oh, no, we're not going to meet yet. We're 3 to 6 months out. So, of course, the communication with them now is going to be different. What does someone that's 3 to 6 months out want? If it's a buyer, they probably would like homes emailed to them that fit what they want. A lot of people use their whatever MLS system that they have to set up automatic email. Boomtown has a system built in, e-alert is what they call it, and most of the systems should have this, that will send out homes based on the types of search criteria someone is looking in. Oh, and side note, if you're on the Boomtown platform and somebody comes into the website and does a search and the agent never takes the time because they're too busy out on appointments, right? And they never take the time to set somebody up on e-alert, the system will do it automatically based on the houses that somebody looked at. But the goal is the agent gets them on a phone call, narrows down their specific search to 4-bed, 3-bath, ranch home, whatever it is, specifically the area they want to be in, the price point they want to be in, so that the homes that are getting emailed are accurate. Because what's the goal of B? The goal of B is to get them to A. A is an appointment set to meet in person to get them to sign on the line that's dotted. So when we put somebody in the 3 to 6 month category, we have them set up on e-alerts. We're meeting with our agents every week to make sure every person in the B category is set up on an e-alert with the types of homes they want to see. If it's a potential listing lead, what would they want to see? Well, they're probably going to be buying somewhere else, so they should be on a buyer search already. But they also want to know, how much are homes selling for in my neighborhood? I'm going to be listing in 3 months, right? Maybe 3 to 6 months. What are homes going for? Every home that ever sells, you should email them, I would suggest, once a week. And you can set that up on the back end of Boomtown as well. Instead of it going out every time a house sells, like if you set it up in the MLS, you could have it set up so every once a week, it sends them a list of all the homes that have sold or all the homes that went on the market, and let them keep tabs on their largest investment, their home, so that they have a little bit better feel for what the market's doing at any given time. A suggestion, another little hack, I'm going to use Pat Hyben, now that's a pearl suggestion, would be that in the details section, you say another listing sold provided by, insert your name, your team, your brokerage. The public is going to assume these are all homes being sold by you, and they're not, and you didn't lie. It's a sold listing provided by you, so that you're bringing them, you're helping them stay aware of what's going on in their area. Now, what do they see? Time and time again, they're seeing all these listings being sold, and you're the one providing them that information. Who are they most likely to now reach out to? Because guess what? And I know this is going to come as a huge shock for a lot of listeners. You're not the only person texting, calling, sending emails, instant messaging, snapping, knocking on their door, trying to win their business. There's another 20 other agents just like you out there trying to get their business. So why do they stay with you? And as I get to the end of this ideation, I will share with you, and you'll, I think, get a clearer picture as to why they end up working with you versus everybody else that's trying to win their business. So you're holding your agents accountable now for making sure that they have an e-alert set up, sending sellers updates, sending up buyers updates. And then the last piece that's probably more important than either of the other two is making sure that anyone that's in that B category that's 3 to 6 months out gets a call or a text every 2 weeks. So the system automatically will have Smart Drip set up. Smart Drips is a sequence of email and text messages. We've created a proprietary Smart Drip campaign inside of Boomtown that's only available to our ERS clients that performs better than any other Smart Drip on the platform based on scores that Boomtown provides to us. We've rewritten and split tested this for over 10 years. And that's how our teams have on average converted at a 2.5% conversion rate, which is 5 times more than the nation's average. I believe we've converted more internet leads than any other team in history. If anyone's converted more than 2,500 internet leads, and you heard me now just say that, and you can verify it, I'll give you a $100 gift card to the restaurant of your choice. Just reach out to Elite Real Estate Systems on Instagram, or you can email Catherine@EliteRealEstateSystems.com. So the last piece is the communication piece, a call or a text. What would you say? They're 3 to 6 months out. Well, that's pretty simple. Hey, it's Jeff Cohn. Just giving you a quick phone call to touch base. I know you said you're 3 to 6 months out. Wanted to make sure you're getting those listing updates I promised you I'd be sending. More importantly, I wanted to see if there's any homes that you found interest in, or if it's a seller lead, wanted to see if there's any homes that have sold in the area that got you excited. Just wanted to touch base, wanted you to know I'm thinking about you, wanted you to know I want to be your point of contact when you have questions specific to getting your house sold or buying a house. Here's my number. Give me a call or text anytime. I'm here to help. Well, you're going to do this systematically every 2 weeks for anybody in that B category. And every 2 weeks continue to pass. Everybody else isn't doing that. Nobody else is doing that. You're already setting yourself apart from everybody else because you're the one who's consistently reaching out. And how long does it take? 10 seconds? People say, Jeff, that's a lot of work. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was too much work to make a phone call that takes maybe 3 minutes if they actually answer. Only 1 out of 10 people actually will answer the phone. A text message takes 2 seconds. You can actually set this all up systematically. You can also hire a third-party person, an internal sales agent, a virtual assistant, to make the calls on a dialing system that you've pre-recorded the voicemail. So I can create pre-recorded voicemail sequences for category A, category B, and then I'm going to talk about category C and D. And a pre-recorded would sound something like this. Hey, it's Jeff Cohn, touching base again. Just wanted to see what your timing's like. I know you said you're 3 to 6 months out. Hope you're getting all the information I'm sending to you. I was thinking about you. Just wanted you to know I'm just a phone call or a text message away. Here's my number. I didn't say their name. That was just pre-recorded for B category. You can do the same thing for canvassing neighborhoods, just listed, just sold, open houses. The sky's the limit. We use Mojo Dialer for that, mojosells.com. So moving into C category, C is very similar to B. Only difference is they're 6 to 12 months out. And the only difference in the communication is that instead of calling or texting every 2 weeks, you call or text every month. We think every 2 weeks is a little too much. If they're 12 months out and you're calling every 2 weeks, they're going to be like, dude, I told you I'm a year out. Like, calm down. But if you're calling or texting once a month, not too crazy. Someone would say to me, well, Jeff, they said I'm a year out. Why would you call them? The call would be just like the one I said earlier on B. I'd say, hey, I know you're a year out. I just wanted to make sure I have you set up on the right drip and that you're getting everything. Yeah, I've got everything. I'm good. All right, cool. Bye. A month later, that's a lot of time has passed. Just check it in again. Just wanted to see. Well, why are we doing this? Why would we check in? Why wouldn't we wait for them to call us? And not to throw my mom under the bus. I love her. She's a lovely lady. She's one of the reasons I got into real estate. I remember mom had sticky notes on a cabinet, and I was this kid, like the kid from Up with the little Boy Scout kid, fat kid with, I think he has a shaved head. I had a shaved head, but I was that kid. And so I remember going into like the cupboard, little sticky notes would fall on the ground, and they're probably half the people were like leads of hers that she never followed up with. She would get mad when people didn't buy or sell with her. And I'd say, Mom, why are you mad? And she's like, well, they didn't call me. They said they were going to call me. Well, guess what? They also told 20 other people they were going to call them as well. So how does someone choose someone? They choose them because they know them, like them, trust them. They choose them because they're going to pick the person that they think cares the most about helping them through the process. So how do you show you care? TIME spells love, right? And so the more you texted, the more you called, the more information you provided, the more you followed up, showed that you're not just talk like everybody else. You actually stayed in it consistently over a long period of time to win their business. So A category, appointment set. B category, you're calling every other week and or texting. And we have a lot of agents that will rotate and they'll make a note inside the CRM. This week I texted, so 2 weeks from now I'll call, 2 weeks from now I'll text. And then the same thing in the C category, it's call or text every month. And you'll have a text 1 month and you'll have an email 1 month. I like the phone call. I'm a little more old fashioned. I'm 41. The phone call means something now because nobody's doing it. Everyone's hiding behind email. Email's the worst way to communicate, which you'll learn in the 7 levels of communication. Every form of communication has a different goal. So we talked before about the goal of the B category is to get them to an appointment. The C category is to get them to the B category. So when they're in the 6 to 12 month, you want them to say, yeah, I'm probably 3 to 6 months, and then you're moving them to B. Of course, you always want them to go to A so that you can get them to sign on the line that's dotted. And then the last category, D. D is going to be your archive. It's anyone that comes into your website that's more than 12 months out. Now you're going to have 2 Ds. You're going to have D contacted and D not contacted, which we call archive contacted, archive not contacted. And we've written different drip email sequences for someone we got a hold of that's more than 12 months out, and then someone we never were able to get a hold of that's more than 12 months out. And we actually aren't calling any of those individuals that are more than 12 months out unless they pop up on our now wall. Boomtown provides a notification wall using predictable analytics. And so we know that someone's more likely to buy than someone else that's in the archive category because maybe they've looked at the website twice in a 24-hour period from 2 different IP addresses. Maybe they ran a mortgage calculator. Maybe they saved a home in a search. There's probably 20 or 30 different identifiers to indicate to one of our agents that they need to they need to follow up with a specific lead based on a certain activity that someone had. So all the leads that are in archive, which by the way, in my archive, we have 100,000 leads from the last 10 years. And like I said earlier, we've converted about 2,500 of those. So that's a 2.5% conversion ratio over a 10-year period. And so as we've worked with the agents to work the D category, getting their D category filled up with leads, I told you we don't call them, but all of those leads in all 4 categories are getting e-alerts, listing updates in the houses for the home that they live in, and then listing updates for the homes that they were looking at when they first came to the website. If you get a hold of them, you customize that. And then, of course, the ABC, we're always calling and or texting those individuals, trying to get them to go on an appointment for us to share a buyer presentation or a listing presentation to get them to sign on the line that's dotted. The only category I didn't talk about, we'll call it the T category, that's trash. Trash is only someone that treats us disrespectful on a call that we'd never want to work with, or we don't have their phone number or email address. If we have a phone number or an email address, we're going to be able to communicate with them via our text chain and or via an email chain that will go out in our smart email sequence, our smart drip email sequence. So we would never put that person into trash. So those are our top lead conversion strategies. It sounds like a lot, but once you get into it, it's not. And a few really fun facts that I'll share with you from an analytics standpoint. Following that process I already shared, we converted at 2.5%. A bigger question is, how long would one expect for a lead to convert if they were following all of those lead conversion best strategies? And we've actually ran the numbers. On the 2,500 leads we've converted, the average lead converted in 6 months. which is pretty fascinating to think it's that long of a process, in my opinion, but it's not a surprise. So when you think about going out to a website today and you're thinking about buying a property or even buying a car, you're not buying it today. You might be buying it in 6 months to a year. So it averages out to about a 6-month process. And that number isn't just for internet leads. And this is the thing that we found really fascinating. That number is the same when it comes to leads from every lead source: SOI, door knocking, open houses, cold calling. People are people are people. And any person that we come in contact with, it's typically going to be a 6-month period. Another thing I want to make mention of is our lead conversion best strategies are the same independent of the lead source. So everything I just shared with categories A through D is not just for internet leads. That's the same way you should treat a lead from an open house. It's the same way you should treat a lead that was referred to you. It's the same way you should treat a lead if it's your best friend. They all should be put into a database based on based on how far out they have indicated to you they're going to be buying or selling a house. They should all be on a drip email. They should all be on an e-alert. It fascinates us how often teams that we coach, we have over 100 teams we coach and 1,000 plus agents. It's fascinating how many will follow these lead conversion best practices for internet leads, Zillow leads, paid ads, Facebook ads, but they don't do it for their SOI and they don't do it for their outbound prospecting efforts. And I'll ask, like, why? And people will be like, well, I figure if they're in my sphere, they're going to call me. I'm like, that's a bad figure. That's a bad assumption. We should be using this system in this process. We also should be putting them in to a closed category. We call that the C category. Everyone in closed should be getting drip emails as well. Well, what would you email out to someone that's closed? Probably a quarterly email that's just bringing them up to speed with how the market's looking. That should be going out monthly, but at least a minimum of quarterly. People that buy a house, what do they want to know? They want to know if they got a good deal. They probably want to continue to know, what are homes selling for in my area? And so you would want to always set them up on an automatic e-alert of homes that sell in their new neighborhood that they just bought in. We also find, you've heard of buyer's remorse. People still want to look at houses after they've bought a house. It does not hurt to have emails going out to these people after they've purchased a home of homes like the one they bought, so that they can be looking at homes, they can continue looking at homes, and hopefully they're picking their neighbors and they're telling their friends and family to reach out to you because they're finding other properties. So make sure that you have people on an e-alert after they've closed. Make sure you have some type of a drip sequence that's asking them for referrals. And of course, if you have the other verticals as part of the lead conversion process, once they are in your A category or hot category, you're talking about who are you working with to get your mortgage. And then of course, once they've secured that, you're talking about who are you working with to get your insurance? Who are you working with for your title? Who are you working with home inspection and home warranty? And then after point of close, you should have other verticals that you could upsell if they don't use them at the sale, like home and auto insurance. So after the 12 months is up, you could have part of your email or text sequence be checking in at the 2 months before their anniversary date, checking in to see if they'd like to shop home and auto insurance. And then you could also a whole plethora of term life, whole life, disability, financial services. And there's a lot of other rabbit holes we could go down as far as additional verticals after point of sale. But I have a strong belief, as everyone knows that follow the podcast, that to stay relevant in the market, we have to give more value than just helping people buy and sell real estate. We have to be agent advisors. We have to take it further than just the real estate transaction. And as leaders, team leaders, we have to help coach our agents to be more than just somebody that opens a door. What's your USP? What's your unique selling proposition? What's your unique ad that you can offer? So part of our team coaching with Elite Real Estate Systems, it's group coaching. It's $1,000 a month. You get on a call every Thursday for an hour, 30 minutes of content, 30 minutes of Q&A. The first call of the month is provided by myself. And then the following 3 weeks, the call is done by Andy Cuny, where he goes into the weeds on the actual actionables surrounding whatever that topic was. January was big picture. February was lead gen. March is lead conversion. And throughout the year, there's 12 core topics. You can find our Elite team building guide, which outlines what those 12 topics are and the actionables that go along with them. We give that away for free, and you can get that at growwithers.com. If you want to sign up, take your business to the next level, we've got the content necessary. We have the actionables necessary. We know the steps. We've done it. We're doing it. And we've helped thousands of others do it. And we'd love to invite you to be part of the ERS family and take your business to the next level in 2023. So don't hesitate to go out, schedule your demo call, You can sign up for that, upcoming events, the podcast if you'd like it emailed to you so you can watch the video version, the PDF, and all of the other content out there at growwithers.com. Hope to see you on one of our upcoming Team Leader Thursday calls and on our next podcast episode. Thank you so much.